And timestamps exist in case you want to skip forward, because in case anyone forgot, I still have to do all of my Batsu runs with Gold Ship. But while we're here, I was supposed to first check the, get my SSR ticket. But, yeah, we'll do a few scouts. So again, that's why timestamps exist, so you can skip forward. But otherwise, as we're sitting here for a moment, I'll just do my one scout. We'll use my ticket for it, because otherwise they don't let me use anything else, unless I want to use paid carrots, but I need to go completely free to play, so I can only do my best. Also, as we sit here, I am trying to prepare for things in the future, whether they're event races, PvP, or even just scenarios, just so I can try to put myself in the best position. But who knows what's going to happen, right? As we get another Agnes Tachyon, who, funny enough, is the next on my next on my Umalak. But we'll see what again, we'll see what happens. So just to check really quickly, did I do anything else? Is it just this? Yeah, winning ticket on the Kurin-chan banner, I believe, and then Agnes Tachyon here, so shrug! And I guess for giggles, I can also burn. Again, I like just to use one scout everywhere, except for maybe, well, yeah, let's use one scout on each, just to break. I like to make things not 0%, so just to give myself a chance of getting something. Otherwise, anything else would be great compensation, even if it just results in cleats, so hey. Thanks for giving me Naruto Taishin and not the Musume, just the support card. So yeah, let's find out what happens. So we'll throw 150 carrots to do one scout here as well, and yeah, let's see what happens. So, yep, Adiva Scarlet, and I'm gonna save the rest of my carrots, because in case you didn't know, I used all of my carrots for Kita-san Black. In fact, I would have had 30,000 carrots, but then I used another 200 scouts, so that's why I have 2 copies of Kita-san Black. I did not scout a single one, I exchanged for the 2 that I have. So, as we use our SSR ticket here, yeah, we'll see what happens. I am seeing a thing. So right after I do these scouts, I swear to you, this is happening right here. I got my Super Creek finally, and it's really just going to be used just to get Swinging Maestro, but that's good enough for me. Unfortunately, there's not much else to the card, but I mean, I'll take it. I have to take it, because then I can at least use anything else that I may be borrowing. But I'm going to make a cut here, because I need to do something. Yeah, what I did, and on top, actually, you know what, let's just level up the Super Creek card now. I did also just go through the new parts of the story, but I mean, there's not really much else to look at, because it's not like I'm going to be able to level up a lot of things anyway. But I do want to level up this Super Creek, because, I mean, I might be using it. So, without further ado here, let's just level this up really quickly to level 30 and be on our merry little way. No initial friendship. I think initial friendship is level 45, if I recall correctly. Yeah, so it's a long way. Level 35 bare minimum, but really, I would personally want level 45, but that's not going to happen. So, if nothing else, we're just grabbing Super Creek for the skill. And as this video should be, if Future Jordan takes care of the details, it's a Gold Ship Batsu. Now, I'm not using anything too amazing, so I'm just going to use what I can look at. Probably just 4 to 6 star stamp. Nope, that's not even 4. Never mind, I lied to myself. I lied to myself and everyone, so we'll just grab what I can. Goodness, what is this? Ogre Cap? Yeah, so that one's more stamina, but I haven't been keeping track because I've just been doing my best to try and grab whatever sparks I can that are 2-star or 3-star in some cases. But funny enough, there have been a few 3-stars that I got from failed trainings, which kind of makes me sad. I think we will just replace this Mayano Top Gun with Super Creek. I mean, I could do a whole host of things. I'm just choosing not to do it. But we'll actually, why did I do that? I should not have done that. Yeah, I should not have done that, because I want to try and guarantee... Again, I've been playing around with different decks and seeing what may or may not work for me, but let's put Mayano back, because what we're going to do instead is replace our Kita-san here with Super Creek. I know, dog, I'm going to replace her with Super Creek, and we're going to borrow the max uncapped Kita-san Black if the game will let me click on the friends list. So, as we move on in life, and we're taking Tazuna just to be safe. Otherwise, I could replace Tazuna with something else. But we're going to go with some consistency here, because I've run into a few bad runs not taking Tazuna. And by that, I mean sleep deprived into 2 negative status effects, which didn't lose me the run, but boy, I could not get some of my stats to 600. So that made me really, really sad. But yeah, as we get our inheritances and start this run, I might be doing different things. Again, this is kind of just going to be a chill video at this point. I've done many, I have done many gold chip runs, as you'll see my fan count probably at the end of this, if the game loads correctly, but there have been a few runs where I just don't get URA champion. I forgot, I think recently I did a run that just completely just died, and I think I was experimenting heavily with different cards that I was trying to level. And as you may have seen in an earlier video, I did level my Aoi to max because she was max uncapped. That was a bad decision because by that time I already had a Tazna, so there was no reason for me to really level up Aoi. I think I wanted to play with the extra passive effects and the training effectiveness, but that did not... It was not enough. It was not enough. So I'll continue using Tazna. Again, my favor of Tazna over even my max uncapped leveled Aoi card is that the energy recovery is really, really important. To me, anyway. If you don't need it, you don't need it, but it's really important to me, so... Otherwise, off we go. I've seen differing opinions. Again, what I see from some trainers is that, yeah, Tazna's consistent energy, along with the extra effects like being the second and fourth recreations, being able to remove status effects, the third one having a choice to increase mood as well, but if you don't need the energy, you can take the bottom choice. Things like that, I see trainers favoring Tazna over Aoi, but Aoi max leveled, I see people liking the maxed passive effects, which... Again, haven't gone as well for me, but I see their value. I can see the value here and there. The skills, on the other hand, aside from concentration, I just usually am not in a place to really use Aoi's skills compared to Tazna's, well, concentration. Even just focus, but obviously I'm playing gold chip here, so not really the greatest reason to take concentration, but again, I'm using Tazna here primarily for the recreation and consistency in the run. Especially if I know what I want. Again, usually when I'm running Tazna, I'm going for a 600 speed, 600 stamina, 600 power run. I'm not trying to build... And well, yeah, I'm building for sparks, basically. I'm not making a gold ship for the purpose of an actual race. So, outside of the scenario mode. Or otherwise. But if I really wanted to focus on 3-star stamina, which is what I'm kind of leaning towards, I should just try to put stamina to 1200. I think that was also something I tried to do, but I was having problem finishing my gold races with gold ship. I could do it, it's just my URA championship runs are not as great, which, I mean, I don't particularly need, but the way that the way my cards are set up right now, I can hit 1200 during URA finals, but I cannot complete URA finals consistently, if that makes any sense. So, I think the best runs were, again, as you see, I have a Hishi Amazon, but I also have I now have an El Condor Pasa and a Vodka. So using those three with 2 stamina cards and a Kita-san Black, I think was my closest to consistently getting 1200 stamina runs. But when I say consistent, that's only 2 successful runs, so yeah, it's not great for consistency's sake. Because otherwise, the rest of my runs, I usually peter out at the... I peter out during Arima Kinen, and sometimes Takarazuka Kinen, but that's a weirder silly. And when I say that, I mean I have to clock at least once. It's weird. It's weird the way I have to structure my things. It shouldn't be. I should be able to just go with the tried and true 3 speed, 3 stamina setup, but for some reason my power just isn't how well. I assume it's my power. My speed and stamina are fine in that setup, in the 3 speed, 3 stamina setup, or 4 speed, 2 stamina setup. Basically, it's a trust me bro statement when I say I've tried it out and it's not consistent. If I don't want to clock at all, unless it's not supposed to be a no clock run, consistent run. But if that were the case, that would be a bit weird. But anywho, that being said, the only thing I haven't done when I'm going for those 3-4 speed setup decks is I haven't really tried Sweep Tosho, and the main reason I've just been experimenting more with Sweep Tosho is just to fish for her Charming event. because my Sweep Tosho is only 1 uncapped. But again, you bring Sweep Tosho because that event is very, very powerful, especially if you proc it early in your run. But even in the middle of the classic gear, I find it being really, really useful. As we get second place in the Junior Make debut. Oh my goodness. This is when I wish I had the Pace Chaser aptitude increased. Do I have it increased? I guess I'm gonna find out. Pretty sure I would have won if I did that, but anywho. That being said, my speed is a bit lower than I'd like to be before the Junior Make debut, and I'm even including not sparking from that. Usually I have at least 150 to 160 speed, and that consistently wins me the Junior Make debut here. Alternatively, if I get a Pace Chaser, because I can set up this gold chip, or I can set up my gold, well, and it's easier to get her Pace to A, but if she's at Pace A, you might as well just use Pace A in my opinion. Actually, I do have 160-ish speed, but I guess you just get unlucky sometimes too. Anywho, moving on. That's not the worst thing in the world. We can make up for it, because the way Gold Chip's career is set, I can usually start hitting all of the races I want to. By that I mean Takarazuka Kinen in the classic year, both Japan Cups, Osaka High in the senior year, and I think there's one more I'm forgetting. But you get what I mean. I can hit a lot of G1 races. They're all G1 races, which is nice for me to do. But again, there's not really a reason, aside from, well, the skill points are nice, but I'm also just shooting for fans at that point. Really? Wait a second. Really? Huh. Oh, I was about to say, there's not a single medium race? Anywho. Let's train. So. I think we just force the speed here for the moment. It would be nice if we get some strength trainings done, but maybe that's going to be held for the summer. The odd thing about, I guess, to say things that I may not have talked about before, and I am just kind of going blind here. Usually I would take it slower and, you know, make sure I'm picking the right choices, but that's not, and by that I mean I'm using use online resources. There's no reason not to. But yeah, there's variability in the middle of your training. Now, obviously, to a certain extent, you can get your runs pretty consistent, around minimum 70 to 80%. I almost said 60%. 70 to 80% consistent in terms of what you want to do. But the moment you want to try and do for something else, or you're actually trying to prepare an Uma Musume for a race outside of the career mode, then yeah, maybe you might switch things up a bit and I'll take like a run or two of experimentation. But other than that, I don't really foresee too many problems with most trainers training Uma Musume. Now, you might be trying to figure out the puzzle of your own decks, trying to set up a deck that works for what you want to do, but aside from that, like on average, I don't see a lot of trainers really having trouble. The most time I've seen trouble at all are trainers who are literally just starting out with Uma Musume or do not how do I say? I have the cards? Question mark. I don't think that's the correct phrase. But anywho, I really want. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna take after school scroll for the moment. I was looking at Uma Stand and I said the ST instead. But as we need to win our Junior Make debut, if we lose this one, must be like a 1 to 2% chance of happening. I have yet in global server to fail 2 Junior Make debuts. In fact, I don't remember ever failing 2 Junior Maiden races with Gold Chip. But let's find out. Okay, good. I don't doubt it can happen. But not in the Junior Make debut. In other races, even at Hopeful Stakes here coming up, I've seen Gold Chips get blocked by linebacker Pace Chasers, and it's really, really painful. So, no! Pain! As soon as I see a stat go down, I just assume, but hey. Could just use Tazna twice here, but let's try this out, and then we Tazna once instead. Right behind you again! Okay, good. I don't think that's actually 50-50. I saw a source that said that was 50-50, and it's not the usual source, so if it is 50-50, I must have just been getting really lucky the last 20 times I used that. I made that choice, but anywho. Yeah, sure. Although I would like to do a thing. So yeah, one of the parts I like about Gold Chip's scenario is that she takes you through a lot of G1 races. And because, even though she may not be the strongest end closer Uma Musume, as the global server continues to go on, I feel her career is really, really, how should I say it? I was going to say solid, but that's not what I want to say. If nothing else, consistent for fans, if that makes any sense. But really, it's a matter of hitting races that you would want to race anyway, unless you're trying to go for the long URA. But that's not the hardest thing to do either, because Gold Chip has at least 2 long races. I want to say she has 3. So-called Gold Chip fan here, by the way. But, anywho. You go through a lot of G1 races as Gold Chip, from what I see. Now, you do have to go out of your way to go get the rest, but... And you can't do Queen Elizabeth Cup without risking 3 races in a row, which is really bad at times. I don't doubt you can do it. I'm just not confident enough to consistently go through and just try to win every race there. But I don't assume most trainers would do that anyway. Again, I'm not saying that it's you don't see a lot of trainers going for... so what I mean by that is that later in the Classic and therefore also Senior year, but really the Classic year, there is a goal race right before the Queen Elizabeth Cup race, which is a medium race, but after the Queen Elizabeth Cup race is the Japan Cup race, or the mile race if you want to do that one instead. And that, again, doing 3 races in a row like that will cause a bad event to happen. So, yeah, it's not great. But again, if you can recover properly from it, or you recover from it and nothing too bad happens, then fine. I can see trainers taking that, but otherwise, for now, I've just mostly been skipping Queen Elizabeth. The only other part about that is that, again, if you can recover, but then you also get the, I think Queen Elizabeth race has a spark because it is a G1 race. Again, I don't often take it, so I don't know what the exact spark effect is, but if you miss out on that and that's actually optimal to do, well, I wouldn't have known. But as we complete the hopeful stakes here and move on, again, as always, I do try to go for the Takarazuka Kinen on Classic Year, which is optional. The goal one is in the Senior Year. So, yeah, Arima Kinen, Tenno Show, Autumn, was that? And other things. And Arima Kinen, but that's, again, usually a lot of Musume go through Arima Kinen. It's the races in between. Unless Gold Chip doesn't actually go through as many G1s for gold races than I thought, but I feel like she does. Relative to other Musume. And for some reason I thought I had Charming. I saw that, I was like, oh, I'm Charming. I'm like, wait, I don't have Charming. Again, I've been going through... Who is it? I think there was someone else. Was it just Sweep Tosho events? I feel like there was another Musume that has a base event that can grant Charming. I might be going crazy, though. But anywho. Sure, we'll do another speed. Yeah, I know, I'm doing another speed, dog. I'm doing another speed training. But anywho, so let's find out what happens here. If I do this properly, and we're actually starting the Swinging Maestro event line here, that is nice, but we'll see. Yeah, I think the only thing we would... No, I have to wait until after this goal race so that because Takarazuka Kinen requires 20,000 fans, which I probably don't have. Yeah, I might as well just go Guts here really quickly. Guts! Not a D. The letter G. And another Tazuna. Yeah, let's actually just rush these Tazuna events. Not that I really need to. Usually I like to save my second and third Tazuna events for later in the Classic Year. Basically using them, or saving them, just in case I need them before the first summer training, but meh. Meh. But let me see here. So yeah, in this specific instance, when I'm waiting for Swinging Maestro, I usually risk waiting for Swinging Maestro and not using my skill points. Especially since I also, with Gold Chip, I can take the Go Home Specialist too, but sometimes I like waiting, because obviously, unless you have a skill hint, you're paying the full price for a Go Home Specialist and its previous normal version. Whereas opposed to Swinging Maestro, you're likely getting a decrease because hints happen, but I guess while we're here, we might as well grab Go Home Specialist. Could grab something else after this next race, but I think I'm just going to save for Swinging Maestro, just to be safe. It's more a long-term investment. I don't normally see myself needing 2 rare gold recovery skills, unless one just decides not to proc on top of me having like less than 300 stamina by the end of the Classic Year. But again, even with like 250 stamina, I usually end up fine. But again, I am skipping a lot of races, so I don't know if I'm proccing Go Home Specialist because I passed the Wisdom check. We get Turf Aptitude there, by the way. But Really, I would have liked medium instead, because obviously I'm doing a lot of medium races. Look at that gold ship look, by the way. Anywho. We're going to skip this as well, and assuming we win this, but even just getting second, maybe third place, we'll have enough fans for Takarazuka Kinen. If we don't get at least second place, I'm going to have to do a check. But otherwise, I do normally win this one as well. I have failed this one before, but... So, after this, we schedule Takarazuka Kinen and see if we can. I usually can get my left stats to 600. At this point, if you've seen the other gold chip Batsu videos, you know what's about to happen here. I'm not gonna try to go for 1200 stamina. Would be interesting, but we'll see. The main reason why I said we'll see is that I've often done a run with even just a level 30 silent Super Creek. Sorry. Oh, that's right. I do Tokyo Yushin as well. So. Yeah, with Super Creek and maxed leveled Mayano here, blah, blah, blah. I'm going crazy. I've run into situations in where I know I could push my stamina above 1000 very easily, but I just didn't because I was also trying to push speed and power as well. So, I mean, I guess we'll see. What I mean by that is basically if my friendship trainings come earlier for stamina than I expect, I might swerve, but maybe I won't. We'll see. Yeah, we're just gonna rest here. We're gonna rest into a race, so no more stat increases pretty much because I rest, then race, but then right after is the turn before Takarazuka Kinen, so I have to rest again so I can prepare for the summer, and then we race in Takarazuka Kinen. But I usually win Tokyo Yushin and Takarazuka Kinen here as well, although, where are my stats at? Let me just look at my stats. Yeah, here I should be able to win twice. I might not win, but usually I end up winning. A majority of the time, but there is a good chance I lose as well, so if that happens, shrug, I guess. I can't remember if placing higher increases your chances of getting a spark. I feel like you just have to participate, right? Although winning obviously gives you more goodies, but you get what I mean. If I want to be safe, I should Tazuna here. Yeah, I'm going to Tazuna here. It's less energy, but if I'm unlucky, resting... One is less energy. Well, not less energy, never mind. It's not less energy, but I get a negative status effect, which I do not want, because that mood decrease is pretty much the biggest debuff during summer training. And not because of the status effect in itself, but because of the mood decrease, really. Now, I haven't calculated exactly how many stats you lose, but it feels like a lot. Because the mood effect is multiplicative. And also to note, I think we can check in here. Can we check here? No, you have to check through the other thing. The training screen. Nope, we got 8th. I'm just gonna assume we got blocked. No way to know what happened when I skipped the race like that. But anywho. Yeah, I know, dog. I lost. Gold Ship lost, and she got 8th, which makes me sad too. I'm just gonna gamble here. Okay, good. I think you lose 30 if you get that wrong. Anywho. Otherwise, I guess we do wits. And then maybe we increase stamina? I don't know whether I still want to use summer training for supplementing stats I'm lower of for the sake of surviving URA Championship, or if I just want to boost the good stats. Although the latter, I feel like the latter is usually better for me. And yeah, for the sake of total stat points anyway, we'll just do the stamina friendship training. Swim, Gold Ship, swim! I just realized a thing was happening, but I think we'll be fine. I don't want to take this risk, though. Oh, yeah, and then Special Week is not even at Orange Bond, so our speed trainings are going to be still relatively weak, even with Kita-san Black maxed out, but sitting on Friendship Training. Although a lot of Kita-san Black level 50 is about just her landing on Friendship Training a lot, so, I mean, it's not like I can really be mad about that. It's just that I can't get any more power. In fact, we didn't even get another friendship trading, so I guess wits it is. Or guts, maybe? Yeah, guts. And now we hit our bare minimums. So I'm pretty sure you need 250 guts for a lot of medium races, but, well, that's the ballpark. Because you have to look at the actual specific distance in meters. But wits, on the other hand, can stay about 250, although I would prefer it to be at 300, but when I need to increase the other stats, gotta increase the other stats. Anywho. Let's actually do speed here. And by speed, I mean more power as well. Because Hishi Amazon is not landing friendship training on power. Although, if I get a better speed turn, I'll train speed instead. But otherwise, as we continue leveling up speed and we get the second Super Creek event before swinging Maestro. Isn't it always swinging? I feel like I always get swinging Maestro from it. And by that, for those who don't know, there's a chance for some SSR events to not give you the rare skill. An easy example to think of is Tazuna. She might give you focus instead of hint for focus instead of concentration. Special Week is also guilty of this, the SSR event card. Sometimes she gives you Hydrate instead of the Gourmand, which makes me really, really sad, but hey. And now we have Swinging Maestro, so we should be perfectly good for the rest of this run, stamina-wise. Although I do need to get my stamina to about like 400-ish still, but basically I can take Professor of Curvature and other velocity / hopefully acceleration perks. I don't think I have a single acceleration perk available from these from these cards, and if any, maybe only one. I don't remember a lot yet. Makes me so sad. But anywho, we're just gonna skip this. Again, the only race we're really gonna be planning to watch for the rest of this, unless someone makes a comment saying that they want to see a certain race, but it's gonna be the URA finale finals. Yeah, that's all I have to say at the moment. Also, I guess we could kind of just yap on for a moment. Actually, we'll wait for the timestamp, so I'll save my yapping for the next after 5 seconds, and I'll take a sip of water. I was still sipping water, please! Ugh. Don't give me this turn right here. That causes me to die on stamina, though, so we're just gonna do this Tazuna rest. And by that I mean Tazuna Recreation, but this does mean I immediately enter the Japan Derby, so yeah. The wits and skill points, and into the Japan Cup I go. So we should have enough for this as well. Although again, if we just get blocked, we get blocked. There is kind of a micromanagement thing you can do. I don't know if it has an effect because I've only done like 10-20 runs testing this, but basically when you look at how many, say, late surgers and pace chasers are running, if there are like 11 pace chasers and your Musume is only a late surger, but you have pace chaser at A aptitude, I've been testing out whether pace chaser is better there, assuming you have the stamina, or not, basically. But from what I've seen so far, I would like to say yes, but I don't remember all of the data I had, so shrug, I guess. Why am I trying to race here? We can do the thing. I think I'm just gonna Tazuna instead and just grab concentration here. I thought it still does have an effect. I guess we're gonna. I want to find. And actually, yeah, it does have an effect. What am I saying? Of course, it has an effect, but less important for an end closer than it is for a front runner. Question mark? When I say that specifically, again, where concentration is most useful, I'm placing my trust in trainers when I make that statement. And online resources, but basically it's definitely not any observation I've made personally. Although I would say that it is important. You've heard me say this before, that I think concentration is still important for every Musume, but obviously some Musume and strategies want it more. And by that I mean frontrunners. Frontrunners want concentration more. That way they don't have to try and make up distance and use up more stamina, essentially. But we should be able to survive, yeah, unless we just miss... One, we miss both stamina skill procs, and or two, we just get blocked. Both of those can cause us to not win. Which would be very, very bad, actually. I would not want that. Keeping in mind that, yes, I'm also trying to go for the Gold Chip fan count title, so when you see me training Gold Chip a lot here, as this Batsu may not actually be a Batsu because I like training Gold Chip, yeah, I'm also going for fans for the title. Titles, plural. But since we're full on energy, we're just going to take more skill points. And something I could also talk about is that, yeah, while I haven't been making them... I said I've been looking for sparks here and there, but really there are times which... there are times in which I'm just trying to grab my one-time carrots as well. Again, I've already cleared out the trophy, or I've gotten all the trophies for the first-time carrots for grabbing a trophy for the first time. But I was also getting Bond level 6 with everyone, mainly Winning Ticket and Major Orion. Those are the two Musume that I have not. In fact, you saw in one of my Legend Cup videos that what I was going through a scenario of, I think, Meiji Orion, maybe a lot earlier in the month, well, or last month, was Winning Ticket. But again, those two were under Bond level 6, which you need to get to at least unlock the last chapter of their story, Musume story, which grants you 50 carrots. So I'm struggling in real life, as I say. I wanted my carrots. But as we continue on here... Oh, that's right. I need to schedule Osaka High. We'll probably need it anyway. For some reason, these last few trainings that were not gold chip, though. But I feel like I just haven't been getting enough skill points. Though granted, I would... assuming this... Especially if this Hishi Amazon were a vodka instead, which is what I do for non-end closers, essentially. Yeah, we would be buying Breath of Fresh Air, Concentration. Well, we'll just count the number of rare skills. 1, 2, 3, skip Special Week maybe. Super Creek, and so that's 4 gold skills, each at about 320-ish skill points, so I need about 1,280 skill points to buy all of these 4 rare skills. And that's not including any green skills. That's why that's why I assume the race bonus, which is a passive effect from certain support cards, is very important, because race bonus, I think, also affects the stats, but more importantly affects the amount or increases the amount of skill points you gain after a race. Nice mood down, by the way. Yeah, and assuming that you... especially if you're not racing as much as you want to, or as you need to, you would need to get over 1,200 skill points. Yeah, it's not great. Oh, I didn't want to watch this race. Help. Yeah, it's a lot of skill points that you need to get, and I think even just including the goal races. So if I just do some quick calculations here, let's just assume you get about first, and you get about 60 skill points each. So there are 8 goal races ish, and even on goals where you're just getting fans, or in the case of Oguri Cap, you're doing G1s. We count those as one race as well. So again, 8 goals times 60 is 480 skill points, which. Yeah, is not is nowhere near. And you're obviously getting more skill points from training and whatnot. You get skill points at base when you train during a turn, and then maybe you have skill cards that give you skill point bonus, so that's nice as well. But we'll just skip to the final spurt here. If you're gonna watch the race, you might as well watch something. So yeah, we're on the outside. We should win this unless something really, really weird happens. But yeah, you get skill points from other places as well, including events as well. So those add a lot of skill points. But even then, even if we say increase the amount of skill points you get by 50%, and then we include your A at the end, we'll even be lenient and say that's 1,000 skill points, which, as you heard me just calculate, we need 1,280 skill points to even just get 4 rare skills that we would like. Again, assuming Hishi Amazon is instead vodka, so Breath of Fresh Air, Swinging Maestro, Concentration, and Professor of Curvature. I almost wanted to say Curvature of Professor, but I think my correction was right. But anywho, so yeah, here we get 60 skill points. Would be a bit more if we had more race bonus, which I think the sweet spot is 35%. Correct me if I'm wrong. I forgot why that specifically was the sweet spot, but more race bonus means more things. We get turf aptitude again, but you can't increase it above S. So here. But yeah, as it is right now, we don't need to buy a lot. But again, keeping in mind that, especially if you're planning to race in events or races outside of the scenario mode, you would want to take green skills. Obviously, some even normal skills that just might be very, very good for what they do, which there does exist quite a few. But obviously, some among each strategy, end closer, late surger, pace chaser, front runner, or the length type that the skill procs on. Actually, I might as well grab stuff here. I said I was supposed to. So we can grab that, and then we can also grab Triumphant Pulse. I like taking Simply Rudolph's instead, because we will be passing 3 passing runners as an end closer, so while it's not particularly acceleration, and Oguri Caps is usually more useful, even though I don't think... I forgot if... I mean, I can just check. Let's just fact check ourselves while we're here. Although we will skip this race, but... let me check a thing. I'm actually checking through another thing that makes this really weird. We get 3rd, by the way. Yeah, we must have gotten blocked. Just assume you get blocked. I shouldn't always assume, but we skipped the race. We can't watch it anyway, so... anywho, that's not the right thing. And away we go. So, Triumphant Pulse. Clickety-clack, the keyboards. Yeah, so increased target speed, or, I mean, it's still increased target speed, but it's not acceleration, but it procs at a moment in which you're probably already at your max speed anyway, so therefore you're getting more speed, because it's not like... If you are still accelerating, then yeah, you would theoretically be losing distance, because if you're not at... If you add more, because when it says increased target speed is specifically the max speed your Musume can run, and that she's trying to go for, but obviously she needs to first accelerate towards that before she can do a thing, so... You know what, I'm gonna rest here, actually. We got well rested, but either way, because we're gonna rest here and do a wits training. Unless this is really juicy, it's not, so off we go. But... yeah, so increased target. So say your target speed is 23 meters per second, which sounds... I'm going to mention this again in a bit if I remember. But, yeah, say an Musume's target speed is currently... Yeah, that's why I don't want to say max speed. Target speed is currently 23 meters per second. If you proc, say, a skill that increases your target speed by 0.25, therefore your max target... Or the max target speed becomes 23.25 meters per second. Maybe, if I'm getting this wrong, please correct me, but this is how I understand it's working. And so, for example, if your Musume is only still accelerating and she's just reached 22 miles per second, and then, say, Triumphant Pulse procs, well, you get an extra 0.25 meters per second for your target speed, but are you going to get there in the 3 seconds or 4 seconds or 5 seconds it takes to even get any value? And by the time that happens, you've probably... It's likely that... Timestamps. It's likely that your Musume only accelerates above that target speed. So in this example, she only reaches like 23.1 meters per second before the skill ends, and then her max target speed, or her target speed, reduces back to 23 meters per second in this very specific thing. Again, I could just be getting this completely wrong, but this is my understanding of most of the time velocity perks, velocity skills, and by that I mean they increase their target speed. So Tazuna would have liked you to appear somewhere else. Now we got to do wit training. I mean, we were going to do it most likely anyway, but what I mean by that is that, yeah, training anywhere else with Tazuna reduces the stamina use. But since we're here with Ishi Amazon and I like power, and we need power, then hey. But yeah, that's why, again, if you don't happen to know, acceleration perks or skills are really, really important. Because most of the time, especially, well, they still have to proc. There are times when acceleration skills just don't do anything, and that's when you're in a situation during the raid. I'm gonna risk it, by the way. Okay, good. You're in a situation where your Musume's target speed is not increasing because you can't. There's no point in accelerating when your Musume is already at her target speed, because she won't go any faster unless you proc a skill that increases your target speed, and that goes in tandem with an acceleration skill. But that would be really strange. But it would grant its intended effect. We're gonna recreation here. But on the flip side of that, you usually want acceleration skills to proc when your Musume has a higher target speed that she can reach, essentially. Which is why it makes them very good, because that's the actual visible increase in, or direct increase in speed. We could take Breath of Fresh Air here. I don't remember how great Beeline Burst is for Goldship's career, basically. So we'll just take Breath of Fresh Air just to try and, in case we get really bad RNG, this vastly reduces the amount of RNG required. But, yeah, no, I think we take it. Actually, Masterful Gambit is the better one here. Then we'll try to save for Breath of Fresh Air, and then we'll take Concentration, and then I won't have anything else for green skills, pretty much. Because we're already reaching the end of this scenario mode, of a Gold Chip scenario. Yeah, that's all I have to say. But yeah, Triumphant Pulse is... Okay, if I didn't already mention, yeah, Triumphant Pulse is great because you're already probably at the target speed, because by the time of your final spurt, when you're in the final spurt, that's probably going to happen at around, even 600 to 800 meters at times, maybe 400 if it's a shorter race. But in that ballpark, so your Musume would have likely reached or is about to reach her target speed, and therefore when Triumphant Pulse procs, which it always procs at 200 meters-ish, 200 meters really, when it procs at 200 meters, then you're getting that extra target speed immediately, and then your Musume will increase their speed. As opposed to Simply Rudolph's, where that can proc while your Musume is still accelerating, and therefore she can't use the target speed. Unless I've been misunderstanding the whole time, and Simply Rudolph's unique skill is actually acceleration, but I think it's target speed. Yeah, it's target speed. So, anywho, we'll just slam it into speed. Can't get any of our stats to 1200, but shrug, I guess. Oh, I was supposed to do Japan Cup, by the way. I completely forgot. Well, now we just rest. Rip 50,000 fans. That's literally at least 50,000 fans, but if it makes our URA championship more stable, I mean, that's the trade-off. If we were to have lost the URA championships for whatever reason by taking Japan Cup race, but usually with 700 speed, 700 stamina, 700 power with Gold Chip here, and even 250 guts and 300 wits, I usually reliably win the URA championships. And by that I mean I'm not going to clock this run. I usually clock during the Gold Chip Batsu series, but in this case I'm not going to. Also because I'm running out of clocks, but I usually clock and use my TP items when I am when there's an event going on. For example, the brand new friend event, when getting it will at least grant you a little bit extra boost by the way of the derby. Even if it's just a little boost, I mean, it's still better than using clocks and TP items here while we're doing just a scenario with no events, because we're not getting anything else on top of it, so shrug. But anywho, yeah, if our energy usage is very good, we should be able to train on non-wits training all 3 turns, but we'll find out. I think we take Breath of Fresh Air here. Did I ever? Yeah, I did take Professor of Curvature. For some reason, I thought I only left myself with Corner Adept. I'm going absolutely crazy, by the way. Did we take it right? No, we didn't. I was about to say. And if anything else, I think still, I mean, while your Musume does not make another decision about her target speed if you recover stamina during the last part of the race. Basically, if you didn't know, that's how it happens. If you use a recovery skill, it's not like your Musume is going to speed up. That will happen in a later date on the global server. But otherwise, I think it still prevents you from running out of HP, I believe. That, I think it protects you from. If you were to, say, proc Breath of Fresh Air at the final spurt. But, again, I don't know that for sure. I feel like it does, though. But maybe I could be wrong. I should have checked, actually. There's a way for me to check. I just didn't check. Or I wasn't paying attention when I was doing, basically running simulations and using resources online to kind of try and figure that out. But anywho. Yeah, we could do Guts. I don't want to, though. I guess we'll do Wits instead. Just to do it. It's not like increasing any of our other stats is going to do that much more. Theoretically speaking, even the friendship, well, I mean, it'll make a kind of a difference, but really, it's not going to be that much. Although I should have just trained in a stat then if I was going to do that. Yeah, probably should have just trained in a stat. But we're here now, so hey. So yeah, something I was going to say about basically an Musume's max target speed is basically the topic of the anime. So if you didn't see the anime, I'm not going to spoil anything. There's just a world building thing that I was going to note on. So you might have seen a picture of an Musume running on I think a 50 kilometers per hour, or is it meters per second? I think they're still using meters per second, right? But you get the point. Does that equate to? I guess we're gonna find out. I'll just take stamina here. Why not? I really shouldn't have, but let me just say this. So, yeah, is that a thing? I mean, as we're waiting for this to load anyway, I might as well look something up. So, what is that equal to? Maybe I was the one getting it wrong. Oops. Oh, that is. Wait, no, because it says, yeah, the way that we understand Musume speeds in game anyway is meters per second. So, oh, because that says kilometers per hour. I'm going absolutely. I literally just no. Actually, no. That would match, right? Am I going crazy? I'm trying to equate basically the number 50 that you see in the Musume anime when basically for street lanes for Musume running and trying to equate that to the max speed that Musume can run during a race, which is, I think, 30 meters per second. Now I might as well just fact check this. Oh my goodness, late start. I've searched in the wrong place. Flip. And let's check here. So, I heard Bakuhatsu. Okay, final burst. Really? I thought there was a thing. Yeah, so, yeah, Musume's target speed cannot exceed 30 meters per second. I think it's 30. I think that's 30 meters per second, right? But anywho, and a length is equal to 2.5 meters per second. But anywho, yeah, again, you get what I mean. So I was trying to equate that with the number 50 that we saw in the Musume running lane. But again, I guess I'll just believe it. I was basically trying to calculate to see if that was around the approximate ballpark of the maximum speed in Musume can run during the race. I know that's a really weird comparison to make, but I mean, there's nothing else for me to yap on about, and I was just interested myself. So. Yes, I was basically just trying to fill in air. But as we warning shot into, I mean, we're on the outer lane, but as an end closer, do end closers start moving up even during the middle part of the race? Because we're reaching the final leg in a moment here, and that's when we should see if Gold Ship is not blocked here, she should start zooming forward. Although number 18, whoever she is, might be in the way. But otherwise, Gold Ship should pull forward ahead here with an open, if she has an open path forward. If you didn't watch the current story, I mean, I don't doubt that the way that they weave through is literally what we see in the storyline, and I'll just leave things at that. But we should be able to win this. Yeah, so here was where Triumphant Pulse would have procced, but as long as we continue our speed here, yeah, we look like we're going to win. And then straightaway recovery, even though we probably wouldn't have ran out of HP anyway, but hey, it's nice. Oh! So yeah, again, just the normal URA finalist run, although we didn't do the Japan Cup, so missing about 50,000 fans at least. And then, yeah, we have a Super Creek of our own, so hey, as it turns out, feels a lot better, because usually I just barely reach 600 stamina, and I only have like 650 power and 700 speed. So as it turns out, having a Super Creek of my own really helps out. Even if it's not like, say, the ideal, which is, well, obviously, max uncapped would be the greatest ideal. But really, level 45 Super Creek, 3 uncaps would be the optimal free-to-play. Hey, I hope I'm lucky enough. But again, if nothing else, getting the card at all is great for just getting Swinging Maestro. So, shrug. But as we finish this run here, I mean, if I just want... Actually, concentration is the more important one. Yeah. Not that I'm planning to put this Gold Ship anywhere else anyway, but if we're just going to buy stuff left and right and center, if for no other reason than to increase the rating, shrug. But as we complete this run... Oh my goodness, game. Yeah, so... Again, nothing too special here, but I'm just forcing myself to go through. If for no other reason, as we get 1-star power, we get some good, white sparks here. But yeah, it would have been great to get at least 2-star that I can use. I might just end up transferring this Gold Ship. I know there's another phrase to use, and yeah, I'm really trying to push my Gold Ship to higher bond. So basically, I do at minimum 1 Gold Ship training per day. That's not going to be enough if I want her to reach another bond level faster, but. Yeah, nothing really much else to say. If nothing else, what I was going to say is that these videos exist in case you just want to see someone else train. Specifically Gold Ship for this series, because obviously this Gold Ship Batsu is all about Gold Ship, at least 20 times. But yeah, without further ado, if you have anything to say, if you want to support me, you know what to do. If you see any ads, that's not me, at least with this video. And I will see you when I see you. I've got other stuff to do. Oh my goodness. But yeah, without further ado, thank you for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye!